Every brand claims they're the best. Best for movies, best for gaming, best for sports. But when you actually test them side by side, the truth gets uncomfortable. One television looks absolutely stunning for Netflix, but the moment a football hits the screen, it stutters like it's buffering on dial-up. Another turns gaming into a dream, but movie night into a dim, lifeless mess. You'd think paying more would solve everything, but some of the most expensive screens we tested, they fell flat in ways that'll genuinely shock you. So we bought them, we measured them, we lived with this year's major 2025 televisions, and the results? Some brands you've trusted for years failed hard. Others you've probably never heard of quietly crushed everything. This isn't sponsored. This isn't spec sheet talk where I read numbers off a website. This is the real world winners, ranked from disappointing to unbeatable. By the end, you'll know which television truly balances it all. Cinematic color, fast sports motion, and elite gaming response, so you can buy one screen that actually wins your world. Let's start with number 7. Number 7, TCL QM6K. At $700, TCL wants you to believe this is the budget breakthrough. Mini LED backlighting, over 500 dimming zones, Dolby Vision support. On paper, it's impressive. In practice, the contrast is decent for the price, but blooming becomes visible the moment you watch anything with bright objects on dark backgrounds. Credits rolling over a black screen, you'll see halos around every letter. For sports, the 144Hz panel does keep fast plays smooth. A basketball game looks fluid, but the brightness is just fair, and if you're watching from the side during a family gathering, the picture fades fast. Off-angle viewing is weak. Gaming gets better. 4K, 144 with variable refresh rate. Input lag sits around 10 milliseconds, which is solid for this price. If you're playing fast shooters or racing games, you won't feel held back by the screen. It's a budget hero, not a flagship. Think of it like a rookie who shows promise but still trips on bright scenes. If you're working with a tight budget and can control your lighting, it works, but don't expect miracles. Coming in at number 6. Hisense U8N. Hisense has been climbing the ranks, and at $999, the U8N proves they're serious. HDR gets punchy, hitting up to 2000 nits in the right conditions. Dark scene control is legitimately great for this price tier. Watching a thriller at night, the shadows hold detail without crushing into pure black mush. Sports look crisp. Motion processing handles panning cameras well, and the daylight brightness means you're not squinting during afternoon games. This is where Hisense separates from cheaper options. It actually stays watchable when sunlight hits the screen. Gaming is a strong all-rounder, 4K 144, Hertz, low lag, and variable refresh rate that works smoothly. Whether you're on PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, it responds fast and feels premium. The catch? Viewing angles are still limited. Sit dead center and you're golden. Move to the side and colors wash out. For a solo viewer or a dedicated theater seat, this is a value monster. For a wide living room with couches everywhere, you'll want better. At number 5, Samsung QN90D. Samsung's Neo QLED line has always chased brightness, and at $1,799, this one delivers on that promise. For sports, this thing is incredible. Reflection control is among the best we've tested. You can watch a game with windows wide open and still see everything clearly. The brightness hits levels that make daytime viewing effortless. But movies? That's where things get weird. Deep blacks are solid for an LCD, but the moment you switch to game mode, the HDR tone mapping drops. Suddenly, highlights that looked stunning in movie mode feel compressed and less impactful. It's like the television forgets how to handle brightness properly when gaming. Gaming performance itself is snappy, low input lag, good response times. But that HDR compromise under gaming load is frustrating when you've paid this much. If your living room is bright and you mostly watch sports or daytime television, you'll love it. But for nighttime movies or serious HDR gaming, you can do better. If this breakdown's already helping you figure out your perfect setup, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's next. Number 4 takes us to the TCL QM8K. At $1,300, TCL went aggressive here. Peak brightness hits around 5,000 nits, which is borderline absurd. Tight dimming zones keep highlights controlled, and the mini LED backlight does its job without too much blooming. The WHVA panel improves off-angle viewing compared to cheaper TCL models. Not OLED level, but better than most budget LCDs. You can actually sit slightly off-center without the picture falling apart. Sports look fantastic. Very bright for daytime, smooth motion, and enough color saturation to make grass and jerseys pop. If you're watching football or soccer in a sunny room, this punches way above its price. Gaming gets the full treatment. 4K, 144 Hz, wide variable refresh rate range, low latency. Competitive gamers will appreciate how responsive it feels, and HDR gaming actually looks vibrant thanks to that extreme brightness. If your setup involves lots of windows and daylight, this is one of the best values you can get. But if you're in a dark home theater, that brightness advantage doesn't matter as much. Breaking into the top 3, Hisense UX. At $3,999 for the 85-inch model, Hisense went full overkill. Extreme luminance, elite contrast, and a size that dominates any room. This is what happens when a brand decides to compete with the big boys at the premium level. Movies look cinematic. The contrast ratio rivals high-end OLEDs in some scenes, and the sheer brightness makes HDR highlights explode off the screen. Watching something like Dune or Blade Runner 2049, you feel the scale. Sports get stadium-level brightness and clean panning. Motion is handled well, and the size makes you feel like you're courtside or on the field. It's immersive in a way smaller screens can't match. Gaming is solid with 120Hz variable refresh rate and good response times. Input lag is low enough for serious play, but the footprint is heavy. This is a big, imposing television that demands space and a strong wall mount. Big screen brute, overkill in the best way. If you've got the room and the budget, this delivers a premium experience that genuinely justifies the price. But it's not subtle, and it's not for small apartments. If this saved you from an upgrade mistake, hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. Alright, we've seen the solid contenders. But now, we're entering the premium territory, where performance actually feels different the second you turn it on. Quick recap. OLEDs dominate darkroom movies. Mini LEDs own daytime sports. But who actually blends both without forcing you to pick a side? Because here's the thing. Picking a television isn't about specs. It's about how it feels to live inside the picture. When you're 3 episodes into a show at midnight, or your team's down by 2 with 30 seconds left, or you're in the final boss fight and every frame matters. That's when you know if you bought the right screen. Now number 2 starts the absolute elite. The runner-up at number 2, LG C4 OLED. LG has been perfecting OLED technology for over a decade now. While other brands jumped in and out of the format, LG stayed committed. They built the panels, they refined the processing, they turned OLED from an exotic luxury into something you can actually afford. And at $1,299, the C4 represents everything they've learned. The C series has been their sweet spot for years. Perfect blacks, rich color accuracy, and OLED's signature infinite contrast. Watching movies in a dark room, this is where the format shines. Every shadow has detail. Every highlight pops without looking artificial. There's something about watching a film on OLED that just feels right. No backlight zones trying to keep up. No bloom around bright objects. Just pure, controlled light from every single pixel. Sports benefit from instant pixel transitions. Motion is smoother than any LCD can manage because each pixel turns on and off independently. No motion blur, no ghosting. Fast camera pans during a game stay sharp. A basketball flying through the air doesn't leave a trail. And viewing angles are excellent. Everyone on the couch gets the same great picture, not just the person sitting dead center, but gaming is where this truly earns its reputation. 4 HDMI 2.1 ports means you're not choosing which devices get the premium treatment. 4K 144Hz. Input lag under 10 milliseconds. Dolby Vision gaming support, variable refresh rate, and automatic low latency mode all work flawlessly. Gamers have been obsessing over the C series for years because it just works. No compromises. No weird quirks in game mode, just fast, responsive, gorgeous gaming. This is the best mid-tier balance of all 3 categories. If you want a television that doesn't compromise on movies, sports, or gaming, and you're not chasing the absolute peak of brightness, this is the safe choice. It's reliable, proven, and delivers every single time. LG has been refining this formula for years, and it shows. And now, number 1, Samsung S95F. Samsung has been on a mission. For years, they dominated LCD technology with their QLED panels. Bright, colorful, but always limited by LCD's fundamental compromise. No perfect blacks. Then they made a move that shocked the industry. They partnered with their rival, the company that makes OLED panels for LG, and created something new, QD OLED. Quantum dot color layered over OLED pixels, and with the S95F at $2,499, they've perfected it. This isn't just Samsung catching up to OLED. This is Samsung rewriting what OLED can do. Perfect blacks meet vivid color volume, meet a matte anti-glare finish that changes how you watch television in bright rooms. That finish alone is a revelation. You know how most televisions turn into mirrors when sunlight hits them? Not this one. The screen stays visible, colors stay rich, and you're not constantly adjusting blinds or waiting for sunset to watch something. Movies look phenomenal. The color accuracy is reference grade, but with that QD OLED punch that makes every frame feel alive. Dolby Vision support would have been nice. Samsung still refuses to license it, but the HDR10 Plus implementation is so good you might not miss it. Watch anything from classic films to modern blockbusters, and the picture feels right. Not oversaturated like older Samsung screens, not dim, just right. There's a naturalness here that Samsung has been chasing for years, and they finally nailed it. Sports get ultra-bright performance that rivals mini LED without the blooming. Traditional OLEDs struggled in bright rooms. You'd watch a daytime game, and the screen just looked dim compared to LCD. Not anymore. That matte finish means you can watch with windows open, lights on, whatever. Reflections disappear. Motion is flawless because OLED pixel response is instant. Fast camera pans, quick plays, high-speed action, it all stays sharp and clear. This is the OLED that finally works in real living rooms, not just dedicated dark theaters. Gaming is where this becomes the true two-way MVP. 4K, 165 Hz variable refresh rate. That's faster than most monitors. Automatic low latency mode kicks in the moment you turn on a console. And here's the big one. HDR tone mapping that actually works properly in game mode. So many televisions, even expensive ones, they dim down or change the picture when you enable gaming features. Samsung kept it consistent. The game looks as good as the movie you were just watching. Input lag is one of the lowest we've tested, under 6 milliseconds in the right mode. Competitive gamers will feel the difference. Whether you're playing fast shooters where every frame matters, story-driven adventures where you want that cinematic quality, or sports games where you need both, this screen keeps up without compromise. It doesn't force you to choose between picture quality and performance. You get both. This is the screen that doesn't force you to choose between movie quality, sports brightness, or gaming speed. It handles all three at an elite level. Samsung took the best of OLED, fixed its weaknesses with quantum dot color and that incredible matte finish, and created something that works everywhere. Dark room at midnight? Perfect. Bright living room at noon? Still perfect. Gaming marathon? Still perfect. If you've got the budget and you want one television that wins your world, this is it. From TCL's budget mini LEDs at $700 to Samsung's OLED crown at $2,499, 2025 proved one thing. No single technology wins alone. LCD pushed brightness to absurd levels. OLED perfected contrast in motion. But the real winners? They're the screens that stopped fighting these technology wars and just focused on the experience. The Hisense UX gave us big screen power for people who want to feel every explosion. The LG C4 showed that you don't need to spend flagship money to get flagship performance. LG's decade of OLED refinement means even their mid-tier option competes with everyone's best. But the Samsung S95F, it reminded us that the best screen disappears. You stop thinking about dimming zones or pixel response time or viewing angles. You just watch. You just play. You just live inside whatever's on that screen. And when a television can do that across movies, sports, and gaming without making you compromise, that's when you know you've found something special. The real winner isn't just specs. It's balance. Whether you live for movie nights where you dissect every frame, game marathons where you're chasing that next level, or Sunday sports where you're screaming at your team, what matters is how it feels when that screen lights up your room. Does it pull you in? Does it make you forget you're staring at a piece of glass? Does it feel like the money was worth it? Because here's what nobody tells you about buying a television. You're not buying it for tonight. You're buying it for the next 5, maybe 7 years of your life. Every movie you'll watch, every game you'll play, every championship you'll celebrate or mourn, that screen becomes part of your daily routine. It better be good. So think about your space. Think about your light. Think about what you actually do most. If you're in a bright apartment and sports dominate your weekends, maybe that TCL QM8K is your winner. If you're building a dark theater room and movies are life, that LG C4 gives you OLED magic without the premium tax. And if you want one screen that genuinely does it all, that Samsung S95F is sitting there waiting. Comment which brand surprised you most, and if you want more real-world TV tests, subscribe and turn on that bell. I'll see you in the next one.